So, I would like to introduce today the plant and animal hormones, which we discussed in the previous class. Just I would like to recapitulate the following content. First one, that is a hormone. What is hormone? We discussed. Hormone is a chemical content which will be transmitted through the blood streams and which will controlling all the physiological and biological functions of your body. And later we discuss about the types of plant hormones. What are the plant hormones and how many types of plant hormones? There are 5 types of plant hormones we discussed. One is auxins, cytokinin, gibberellin, abscisic acid and ethylene. Okay. The first 3 just we discussed on the previous class. The first 3 are which is most important for the inhibit the growth of the plants, and the last 2 which is induce the abscisic acid and ethylene is a different hormones which we are going to discuss today. We are going to the third one is abscisic acid. Okay. Abscisic acid is one kind of a hormone, plant hormone, which is can be called as a stress hormone. Why it is called a stress hormone? It is normally the plants which is in a different condition lives. The adaptation of the plants is so important nowadays. Every plant needs to accommodate the environment factors. Some stress conditions, the plants are living with a certain stress conditions which we call it as adapting the content. For example, Himalayas and rural area or desert area, that kind of plants which are losing their adaptability, in which the abscisic acid is balanced, that kind of plants can exist for the life. So, these hormones are called as a stress hormone. What are the physiological functions of the abscisic acid? First one is to promote abscission. What is abscission? The plants when it grow, it lose its stem, leaves and flowers one by one, it lose its. So, this can be increased, then only that will go the new plant will be or new originated growth will be developed. So, it is promote the abscission, and abscission and the ABA is causes stomatal closure. Stomata, it is one of the important functions in the plants which is transpiration takes place through it. So, this can be controlled by the abscisic acid. If your stomata is closer, the transpiration will be stopped, so that it maintain the water content. So, in a drastic condition, the plants which can live for long time, which produces by abscisic acid to control that, and promotes a sensine. Sensine is a very important, that will be a diagram which is given in that. One is a healthy and green plant will be in the picture you see in that. Later that will be sensine formed, and what will be happen? There will be color decolorized and a pale green color is formed, and later it will be that pale green color it becomes to be yellow in color. Why this is? Due to the abscisic acid which can be takes the changes in the plants. This is called a sensine. And next one is induce the bud dormancy. So, bud dormancy is nothing but some of the plants like a potato, these all which has the very slow process of developing nature, that will be induces by this abscisic acid. Next one is inhibitor of the lateral bud. Generally auxin, which is very much used for the apical dominance, that was we discussed in the auxin. At the same time for abscisic acid also inhibiting the lateral bud. So, it is just reverse that. And next one is ethylene. Ethylene is one of the important plant hormone which is called as one of the gaseous hormone. This is okay. This hormone which is generally in summer season we used to see in the headlines of the newspaper also, some bananas and some fruits like mango and watermelon which can be artificially ripened. This is due to the ethylene hormone. So, promotes the ripening of the fruits. Very important thing is ethylene hormone. For example, tomato, apple, mango, banana and etc. Okay. And what are the physiological functions? Is the main important is elongation of the stem and the root in the dicots. Okay. Elongation is a general data for gibberellin also doing the same kind of effect, and hastens the sensine of the leaves and the flowers. So, what do you mean? This is the sensine of the leaves and flowers which is reverse action, that means negative effect of the ethylene, that we discuss about the in abscisic acid which can be inhibit the sensine, but ethylene is hasten the sensine of the leaves. So, always to be keep it in the green in color. And further next formation of the abscission zone. What do you mean abscission zone? The zone which can be we formed as a one group of content in the plant that we cannot be taken away from the plant. So, it will be formations will be supported by the ethylene and break the dormancy. So, some of the plants which is be slow process of growth that will be induced by the ethylene. So, now that is all for the plant hormone what we discussed, all the 5 hormones we discussed today, and later next topic we are going to the next one is human endocrine glands. Before going to that, now everyone know about there are various parts of the body in our functions, that all the functions are which is coordinated by the brain. Everyone know about it. How the brain is so important, such a way our human body consists of the several hormones, that several hormones are which is will be placed in the different organs in our body, that all the biological functions which is takes place by a human body which is responsible, that is called a endocrine glands. That endocrine glands are we are going to discuss here. So, generally the ultimately we used to say the biological functions and mental morphological changes and everything will be due to the endocrine glands. So, generally the glands are 2 types, one is endocrine and exocrine glands. What is endocrine, what is exocrine, what is the difference between these two? For example, in your mouth you have saliva. Saliva is a exocrine or endocrine? It is a exocrine gland, okay, because it has some duct. So, if you have the duct means that is a exocrine. If you have ductless, endocrine glands. So, it is a major difference. So, endocrine glands are ductless and exocrine glands are duct glands. For example, sweat glands and mammary glands, these all are called as exocrine glands. But endocrine glands which has the coordinate the bodily function which is very minute quantity of the chemical substance which is produced by the specific glands. That minute quantity of the chemical substance which is transported through the bloodstream and it reach into the specific organ and activate the organs and rectify the problem of the content, and it will be acting like a major role of acting in the physiological body. Okay. Now, this is study about the endocrinology. What do you call? This is called a study of endocrine glands. So, that is a study of endocrine glands are known as endocrinology, and it is a physiology of this. So, nowadays the endocrinology studying is most important because most of the people are nowadays affected by the endocrine glands. So, the treatment will be very serious effect of the human body changes. Who was the father of endocrinology is one of the question which may asked very often in the question paper. This named as Mr. Thomas Addison. Okay. At the same time, who introduced the term hormones? W.M. Ballins and A.H. Starling, who introduced the terms, is called first hormones. Exocrine glands, for example, for exocrine glands, salivary glands, mammary glands and sweat glands. For example, for endocrine glands, there is a pituitary glands, parathyroid glands, adrenal glands, thyroid glands, pancreas, gonads and thymus glands. Okay. These are the glands we are going to discuss today. And first one is a pituitary glands. Pituitary gland is we generally call master gland. This is. So, pituitary is where it is located. Now, normally the pituitary is located in the midbrain which is attached to the hypothalamus, which is a B-shaped very low place located at the base of the midbrain. Generally we call it as pituitary gland which is located in the brain which is controlling the entire all the glands. So, it is called as a master gland. The size of the pituitary gland is just only 0.5 grams will be there. Pituitary glands which is 2 types of the content which is anterior lobe and posterior lobes. Anterior lobes are known as a hypophysis and posterior lobes are otherwise called as a neurophysis, and mid of the brain lobes also there, but it is absent in a human body. Okay. There are 5 hormones which is secreted by anterior pituitary. They are called as a GH. What is GH? GH is a growth hormone, and second one is a TSH, that is called thyroid stimulating hormone, and third one is a ACTH, adrenaline corticotrophic hormone, and fourth one is a GTH, that is a gonadotrophic hormone, and fifth one is a prolactin. These are all 5 hormones which are the specific functions which is so important for our controlling the entire hormones. The first one is a growth hormones. Growth hormones which is to be failed to secrete normal content, that will leads to certain dysfunction in our body. What are the dysfunctions that called first one is growth hormone have the three kind of dysfunctions. One is a trophism, second one is a gigantism, and third one is a acromegaly. What is growth hormone? The content which is trophism, which is lesser than that normal quantity which is secreted by the pituitary gland, that what we will get, that is called a trophism, that normally the children may be affected by these diseases. So, this kind of trophism means the child which get into be the less height and less skeleton formation, this all be happen to that trophism content. And for gigantism, which is secreted more than the normal limit, which is called gigantism, they are be more taller in height. So, the height will be more. This is leads to be certain difference between the other same aged people, there will be have the certain difficulties, you can find out the certain dysfunction in it. And the third one is acromegaly. The acromegaly is nothing but there is an adult stage, there will be secretion of the growth hormone will be increases, the size of the bulged or the size of the feet and the faces will be in a different in size. So, this is a defect of the growth hormone. And second one is a TSH, that is called thyroid stimulating hormone. Generally thyroid hormones which is coordinate all the functions. So, we call it as this personality hormone that control the growth of the thyroid hormone. This is a specific hormone which is secreted by the pituitary. And third one is a ACTH, which is called a adrenaline corticotrophic hormone, which increasing the protein synthesis in the adrenal cortex. We call it as a emergency hormone. This is also will be controlling the adrenal. So, it also controlled by the all the thyroid pituitary hormone means, so it is called as a master gland. Okay. Now, GTH, the GTH is called as a gonadotrophic hormone. We have to be split up into two way. One is a FSH and LH. What is FSH? FSH means is called as a follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone, which is in the male we call as a formation of sperms, and female growth of the ovarian. Okay. So, for male is a formation of sperm and female is growth of the ovarian, and LH, that is called a luteinizing hormone, which is be controlling the male for testosterone, that hormone is a testosterone hormone, and female which are the two hormones, that is called progesterone and estrogen. So, normally when the male formations testosterone means some Leydig cells which is a development of the sperms, which will be age of the adolescence period, the very important hormone which can be secreted in the boys at the age of 16 to 19 as a teenage, they will be very important for the this hormone secretions. And for female secretions, which is to be more important for the progesterone and estrogen development, for the later stage they will be very helpful their body. So, the nutrient of the young stage is very important for the children. I would like to advise you take a good nutrition food during the age of adolescence, that makes your life will be success. Okay. And last hormone is a PRL, that is called a prolactin. So, prolactin for a female child, generally we this hormone, development of the mammary gland during the pregnancy and production of milk after the childbirth. So, it is a most important for the next generation to be formations. So, it all the 5 kind of hormone which is secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Okay. Next one is hormone secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary. Posterior lobe is a very most important during the stage of pregnancy time. As the God has given a wonderful life to us, but everything we are enjoying, but the gifted life should be run by the science. So, the basic science which is so important to learn it. If you learn the science and you may not be misbehave with any kind of a opportunity or any kind of conditions which apply to you. So, always think yourself the science you learn with something understandable. First one is a vasopressin. It is a hormone secreted by the posterior lobe. What is a vasopressin? It is a normally kidney tubules increase the reabsorption of the water, it reduces the loss of water through the urine, and hence the name is called antidiuretic hormone. See, antidiuretic hormone is called as a vasopressin hormone. This is normally during the pregnancy time the woman used to go for the more urination will be takes place due to this kind of hormone secreted. In this deficiency occur, they may get the diabetes insipidus. So, the diabetes is one of the kind of disease which is most most communicated here, and so we are very care about that. So, vasopressin is one of the hormone which controlling the diabetes insipidus. Next one is oxytocin. It is during the pregnancy, at a normal delivery of the child, it helps to contraction the smooth muscles of the uterus of the time of the childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary gland after the childbirth. So, it is understandable during the pregnancy time nowadays when the normal pregnancy, normal delivery is a very rare cases will becomes because of the nutritional deficiency. So, woman child take more nutritional food, that will be helpful to the secretion of the oxytocin, which makes a greater chances for the woman to get into the good life in their life in future. So, next we are going to the next gland is called a thyroid gland. So, in pituitary gland, what are the questions you may have? What are the doubts you may have? I ask you, and then you may raise there are later so many doubts in children. Now, I ask you one question to you: how will you get your sleep? So, sleepiness is a normal function. Yes, everyone knows it is a normal function when the body get to be tired and everyone go to the sleepiness. But during the night, you will get more sleep than the daytime. Why this is to be happen? This is because of the hormone which is responsible for that, which is the gland which is secreting the pineal glands. That hormone is called melatonin. So, melatonin is one kind of a hormone which is secreted by the pineal gland, which is located in the central part of the brain. So, in the central part of the brain, which is a very small in size of the pineal gland secreting a melatonin gland, which is secreted only during the night time, because the effect of melatonin gives a nice sleep and it takes your life to be well and good. So, every human being needs a 6 to 7 hours deep sleep. That sleepiness which is comes because of the melatonin hormone which is secreted by the pineal gland. So, you understand it. Then what are the content increasing the melatonin? What are the content of food increasing the melatonin means you take a milk or a banana in the during the night time and while before going to the sleep and you take it, that will be increasing the melatonin. So, human body which needs rest at the same time they needs more time to sleep, all the physiological and biological functions are leads to a successful life. So, melatonin is a more important hormone which is secreted in a pineal glands is important. Okay. Now, this kind of some people may walk in the night, that is called a night walk. This also due to have of the psychological problem, sometimes it may be a heredity problem also will be there. So, they may take a daytime sleep more than the night time they will walk. So, this is also happen to that to maintain or balance the hormone. By the way, you will get into good in your night sleep. Okay. So, such a questions you can have, that questions you may arises on the later in the class. Now, I go into the next gland is called a thyroid gland. Okay. What is thyroid gland? Thyroid gland is nothing but is a composed of two distinct lobes lying either side of the trachea, which you are seeing in the picture. So, in your throat you have this is a nodule that your throat function where the two distinct lobes on the either side of the trachea. This gland is called a thyroid gland. Okay. That thyroid gland which is sometimes swelling, that may be a symptom for a thyroid defect. So, you very dysfunction takes place due to the thyroid gland. Very carefully make your nutrients well and good, then you safe life in your content. Okay. Now, the two lobes are connected by means of a narrow band of tissues known as a isthmus. So, look at the picture, the thyroid gland which is in a normally you have the distinct lobes lying either side of the trachea. Okay. In that area. okay, in that area. This may be sometimes bulged for the people. So, it is called dysfunction of the thyroid glands due to the iodine deficiency. So, this is also be carefully done. What are the functions of thyroid hormones? Maintaining the BMR, it is called a basal metabolic rate. These thyroid function hormones are called as a personality hormone. We call it as personality hormone, which is secreted. There are two types of hormones are secreted by thyroid hormone. One is T3 and T4. Okay, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. So, T3 and T4. T3 is a triiodothyronine, T4 is a tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine. Okay, there are two types of hormone which is secreted by a thyroid. Normally, thyroid, which is a epithelium cells, will be included that there is certain colloidal like a substance are packed in it. So, this is which are the thyroglobulin. The thyroglobulin means which are the tyrosine and iodine content. So, globulin means protein. So, this iodine and tyrosine mixed together we called as a tyrosine. This tyrosine hormone which special function, the functions are called maintaining the BMR, it is called basal metabolic rate. And second one is normal body temperature. And third one is influence the activity of the central nervous system. And fourth one is control the growth and the bone formation. And fifth one is essential for physical, mental and personality development. And sixth one is personality hormone. And seventh one is cell metabolism. Okay, the children, now you see that all the seven functions of the thyroid, what you understand from this all the content, that all the metabolic actions are controlled by thyroid means, so it is called personality hormone. So, when we are looking about, suppose the people those who are affected by thyroid mean they are losing the hairs, they are getting more fatigue and they are losing the metabolic rates and the temperature also increases. So, what are that? There are so many defects will be happen in the body. So, we cannot underestimate there is a minute iodine makes such a huge difference in your body. So, be careful about your health and content, and always take a nutritional and a well enriched food for you, that food which is to be naturally content needs to you. So, always to be care about your diet. Okay. Now, next one is a thyroid disinfection. What are the thyroid disinfection? If suppose thyroid secretion is fails to secrete normal level, and what are the defect will happen? One is a hypothyroidism. There are two types, hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism, which can be, there are three different way it will be decreasing the secretion. So, the iodine deficiency, if you have iodine deficiency, the thyroxine secretion will be reduced. If a thyroxine reduced, and you will get the diseases named as a hypothyroidism. In hypothyroidism, the goiter is one kind of a disease which is an inadequate supply of iodine in a swelling neck, which is seen in the picture. This is swelling neck is a nodules which is bulged out. So, this is if you comes like that and you will go into the doctor will be diagnosed to take a FNAC test, and the test will be further go for the cancerous growth or any other diseases, and later they will go for the treatment. So, these are the very complicated content. If you lose your little careless, so you always take a iodized salt, the salt which is to be very important, because iodine is a special content which is insoluble in water. It is a non-polar, so non-polar solvent like a sodium chloride like that, in that content it will be dissolved. So, iodine is insoluble in water, so that iodine will be mixed into sodium chloride, which is commonly people take into the common salt or table salt, in which content iodine. So, to rectify the problem hypothyroidism, in that way goiter is a disease which is to be rectified by iodized salt. In Himalayan regions, the people will affect more because the soil itself very less amount of iodine is present. But in a coastal areas, the people may not affected by the disease because the sea water contain more iodine. So, it is naturally we understand the factor about the goiter. And second disease is called a gratinism. The gratinism is it also a inadequate supply of the secretion of thyroxine, and this is because of that. What are the symptoms we have seen? Lack of a skeletal development in children. It is for children, that is maybe a children bone formation will be reduced. So, the children will get into be weaker, they are getting more weaker. So, this kind of fault may affect the children's growth. And third one is myxedema. So, the myxedema, this is increase the body weight. So, this is a reverse of the gratinism. It also body weight abnormal. So, this is due to the decreasing the thyroid secretion. And second one is hyperthyroidism, in which people may get more excessive secretion, in which more excess is also a fault. If you excess is secreted, the people get to be more weight, they will get more weight, and they will get into the buffiness in their faces. So, this is majorly the people in western countries, most of the people are affected by the hyperthyroidism problem. So, this thyroid is otherwise called as a personality hormone. Okay. Now, what are the questions in which asked in the thyroid hormone? Thyroid, what are the deficiency? What is the nutrient we are required for to rectify the thyroid, and where the thyroid is located, and what are the hormones are secreted by thyroid? These are the questions which may asked very often in the question paper. Okay. Now, parathyroid gland as a same kind. Thyroid gland, what is similar to the thyroid gland is called parathyroid gland, where there is we see in the either side of the lobes are there in the neck region. At the same place there is a 4 dotted like the oval shaped pointed are there. Look at the picture, the oval shaped pointed are there, they are called as a parathyroid gland. Okay. They are superior parathyroid, inferior parathyroid, and thyroid, and larynx, and trachea. It all the content we see in that. The parathyroid is the 4 small oval bodies that are situated on the surface of the thyroid bulbs. Okay, there are 4 small oval shaped bodies. Already thyroid that means on the surface. On the surface of the thyroid, which are the 4 oval bodies, are called parathyroid gland. It is only function is regulate the calcium and phosphorus metabolism in the body. Regulates the calcium and phosphorus metabolism is most important. Calcium content for development of the bone, everyone knows, and phosphorus also nutrient. Okay. So, what will be happen? This is dysfunction of the parathyroid, what will leads to the human changes, and muscle spasm is known as a tetany. What is tetany or muscle spasm means? The contraction of the muscles to go to be looser. If your contraction will be looser, and the people may get into the disease is named as a tetany disease. And next one is painful cramps of the lymph muscles. What is the painful cramps of the lymph muscles? Also due to the parathyroid glands. Okay, the calcium and phosphorus content which is increasing the metabolism. In suppose calcium is not regulated, if you store in the bloodstream itself, what will happen? It also a stone formation in the kidney. So, parathyroid, it is a mild changes in that. These are the things we discussed today, and next time we look into the further. Thank you.